lost for 80 years in an abandoned barn. A rare BMW R Series unearthed. The air hung heavy and still, thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. A lone figure, broad-shouldered and weathered, moved with practiced ease through the dense undergrowth, the rhythmic thud of his axe echoing through the ancient forest. Elias Thorne, a lumberjack by trade and a man of few words, had spent his entire life amidst these towering sentinels. Every day was a symphony of wood and sweat, a predictable rhythm that grounded him. But today, something was different. A flicker of movement, a glint of something metallic, caught his eye where no metal should be. His heart gave a curious lurch. Elias was a man carved from the same rugged landscape he worked. His hands, calloused and strong, knew the grain of every tree, the bite of every saw. He lived a simple life in a small cabin, his days dictated by the sun and the seasons. He wasn't one for modern gadgets or city lights. His joy came from the honest work of his hands and the quiet solitude of nature. Yet beneath that stoic exterior beat the heart of a tinkerer, a man who found beauty in forgotten machinery, who saw stories in rust and decay. His small workshop tucked behind his cabin was a testament to this hidden passion, a collection of old engines, tools, and half-finished projects, each waiting for his patient touch. He'd always dreamed of finding a true gem, a piece of history lost to time, but he never truly believed it would happen. The glint led him deeper, off the familiar logging trails, towards a section of the forest rarely touched by human hands. There, almost swallowed by ivy and encroaching saplings, stood a structure that time had all but erased, an old barn, its roof caved in, its wooden walls groaning under the weight of decades of neglect. It was a ghost of a building, a forgotten sentinel from a bygone era. Elias pushed through the tangled vines, the air inside thick with dust and the musty smell of decay. Sunlight streamed through gaps in the collapsed roof, illuminating motes of dust dancing in the silence. And then he saw it. Tucked away in a corner, beneath a mountain of rotted hay and splintered wood, was a shape that made his breath catch in his throat. It was a motorcycle. Not just any motorcycle, but a relic, a phantom from another age. Its chrome was pitted, its paint faded to a dull, almost indistinguishable hue, but the distinctive lines, the unmistakable silhouette, spoke volumes. A BMW, an R Series by the looks of it, though which one, he couldn't tell through the grime and rust. 80 years, the title had said. 80 years this magnificent machine had sat, entombed in darkness, waiting. Elias felt a profound sense of awe, a connection to the past that transcended the physical object. This wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a time capsule, a piece of history frozen in amber. His hands trembled slightly as he brushed away the debris, revealing more of its form. The Boxer engine, a marvel of engineering, was caked in dirt, but its iconic cylinders still protruded proudly. The shaft drive, a hallmark of BMW design, was visible beneath the layers of grime. This was no ordinary find. This was a treasure, a genuine piece of mechanical artistry. He knew with a certainty that settled deep in his bones that he had to bring it back to life. This old jalopy deserved a second chance. The restoration began with a meticulous disassembly, each bolt and nut carefully catalogued, each component photographed before removal. Elias worked slowly, patiently, like an archaeologist unearthing a priceless artifact. The first phase was all about documentation and careful separation. He started with the wheels, then the fenders, the fuel tank, the seat, each piece revealing more of the bike's hidden story. The engine, a flat twin Boxer, was a particular challenge. Years of moisture and neglect had seized many of its internal components. He carefully removed the cylinder heads, revealing pistons caked with carbon and valves frozen in their guides. The gearbox and final drive, part of the legendary BMW shaft drive system, also required extensive attention. Next came the cleaning. Hours, days, weeks were spent scrubbing, wire brushing, and carefully removing layers of rust and solidified grease. He used specialized rust converters and gentle abrasives, determined to preserve as much of the original metal as possible. The frame, surprisingly solid despite its age, was stripped down to bare metal, revealing the robust construction that had allowed it to endure decades of neglect. Every nook and cranny was meticulously cleaned, preparing the surfaces for the next stage. The repair phase was the most demanding. Elias sourced original parts where possible, spending countless hours poring over old manuals and online forums. When original parts were unobtainable, he fabricated replacements in his small, well-equipped workshop, his hands shaping metal with a craftsman's precision. The engine required a complete overhaul, new piston rings, valve guides, bearings, and gaskets. The carburetor, a Bing unit, was painstakingly rebuilt, its delicate internal mechanisms brought back to life.
The electrical system, a tangled mess of brittle wires, was entirely replaced, ensuring reliability and safety. The suspension, likely a plunger-style rear suspension common on earlier R-Series models, was also rebuilt, its worn springs and dampers replaced. Then came the painting. Elias chose a classic black, a deep glossy finish that would honor the bike's heritage. He spent days preparing the surfaces, sanding, priming, and then applying multiple coats of paint, each layer buffed to a mirror-like sheen. The white pinstripes, a signature BMW detail, were hand-painted with a steady, practiced hand, a final flourish that brought the bike's aesthetic back to its former glory. Finally, the reassembly. This was the most rewarding phase, watching the motorcycle slowly take shape, piece by painstaking piece. The engine was carefully lowered into the frame, the shaft drive connected, the wheels mounted, every bolt was torqued to specification, every connection checked and rechecked. It was a dance of precision and patience, a testament to Elias's dedication. There were moments of despair, of course, a stubborn bolt that wouldn't budge, a rare part that seemed impossible to find, a wiring diagram that made no sense. He'd spent countless nights hunched over the workbench, his brow furrowed in concentration, sometimes walking away in frustration, only to return with renewed determination. But each challenge overcome was a small victory, a step closer to his goal. The biggest breakthrough came when he finally managed to free the seized crankshaft, a moment of pure elation that sent a jolt of energy through his tired body. Another was finding a complete original headlight assembly at a remote swap meet, a stroke of pure luck that saved him weeks of fabrication. It was a journey of passion, persistence, and an unwavering belief in the beauty of restoration. The day finally arrived. The BMW R-Series, now gleaming, stood proudly in his workshop, a phoenix risen from the ashes of time. The black paint shimmered, the chrome sparkled, and the iconic boxer engine looked ready to roar. Elias pushed it out into the crisp morning air, the sunlight glinting off its polished surfaces. He swung his leg over the saddle, the leather newly upholstered creaking softly beneath him. He turned the key, engaged the choke, and pressed the starter button. The engine coughed once, twice, then roared to life with a deep resonant rumble that sent shivers down his spine. It was a sound that had been silenced for 80 years, now reborn. He eased out the clutch, and the bike moved forward, smoothly, powerfully. The ride was swell, a symphony of mechanical perfection, the wind rushing past his face as he navigated the familiar forest roads. It wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a living, breathing piece of history, a testament to human ingenuity and the enduring spirit of craftsmanship. Elias often rode the BMW now, the rumble of its engine a constant reminder of the journey he'd undertaken. It was more than just a restored machine, it was a symbol of patience, dedication, and the belief that even the most forgotten things can be brought back to life. He had found not just a motorcycle, but a purpose, a connection to a past that now rode with him into the future. What forgotten treasures do you think are still out there, waiting to be discovered? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story of restoration and revival, please consider subscribing to our channel for more incredible finds and transformations. And don't forget to hit that like button if you appreciate the beauty of bringing history back to life.